I mean, it is Saturday. What are you doing here, man? You don't have a girlfriend, or you're super excited about JavaScript? Or either the third option is are you married? So that's why you're here. So I feel that it's an awesome day with a lot of packed content on JavaScript. So what did you guys learn? Just to summarize, anything interesting that you want to carry back? Socket.io? Sorry? Okay. You were delivering a session there. You? No. Okay. No, I asked about you. Yeah? Did you deliver a session there? Okay, that's right. So, Node.js. Okay. And how was Ranju's session? I call him Ranju. Nice. Yeah, he's a JavaScript guru in our team. And compared to him, we are all beginners. So, nice. So, JavaScript is sexy, isn't it? If you feel so, you must have a check with your doctor, man. So, JavaScript is good, but, inherent problems. Typically, from the last session, what I see, I think you are pretty much in the advanced or in the intermediate stage, right? What are the problems with the real JavaScript? Sorry? Yeah, actually there are lots. So to name few, one, if you forget where, global. So the second problem is you write a script, and if you're importing a script elsewhere, and that script has the same function name as the one that you're already having in your HTML, right? Problem. So let's figure out these two problems, and let's discuss about the patterns that we can use to solve it. Okay? So since we had this as a title, how many people really feel that JavaScript is completely ready for the real world apps? And for those who feel it's not, what are the problems? Sorry? Proper debugger, okay? That Ranju might contest because we have the F12 developer tools in IE. So, what else? How good it is for team development? I know it is fantastic and phenomenal for single guy coding or a small bunch of geeks or startups. Phenomenal. But typically, what you do in your companies, you have your TFS server, code check-in, check-out, a whole lot of stuff, right? It's not just a single group or one-man stuff. So I personally feel that JavaScript has to go a little long way to be there for the real world live development. So let's pick up these two problems, because this is evening. I don't want to bombard you with a lot of problems. As this gentleman said, there is one single day that the whole day you can discuss about JavaScript problems. So we'll discuss about the global var problem, that if you miss, it's a global. Then probably when you import scripts, the functions elsewhere, how JavaScript patterns help you, and probably encapsulation. Okay? Let's get into the code. Okay, so everybody can. Okay, so I'll just create one here. So I just write a basic code, and it just does this. Okay, so we're going to write a code, and we're going to write it together. So we're going to have few links in our page. When I click on a link, the color of the link, the background color of the link changes. Okay, very basic program, few module program. Okay, let's write it up. So let me open my favorite IDE, doc type, HTML5. Ranju will be really happy to do that. So HTML and a bit of head declaration. So we will come back and write our scripts here. Okay, and watch out, I might be doing some mistakes, and I have plans to. So yeah, watch out. So the basic structure done. So let's go ahead and have some lists. Oops. ULLI, right? sorry, I'll sum it up here. I'll create a link, okay, and Provot can maybe Playboy. I will lose my job if I do that. So I would prefer Facebook. Okay. And then the next link I would want to do is another good search engine. Okay. Bing. Another. How many people really contested that? Okay, so here we go. I just created like a couple of links, okay? That's all. And now let me go ahead and write a script which can change the background when I click on it. Okay. The rest of the patterns I'm not going to code. Of course, I'm not great with typing. But the thing is, let's write this basic code first. Now, what we will do without the use of patterns, okay? Which will obviously, we'll also go and find out like where can the problems be introduced and stuff. So, like script. Oh. Type, right? Text, JavaScript. Okay. So I'm going to function to change color. Okay. I'll do some link ref, which we'll later use to pull out the properties. Okay. So link ref dot style dot background color is equal to new color. Link, okay, and I'll probably create a couple of, it's a small array like var config is equal to colors, small array, okay, get the point? It's regular JavaScript. So colors, some random color like FFF and hash 000. Done. It's declared an array. Then, did I do some problem? The indentation is not right. Anyway, I'm going to query all the A tags that are given in the document. Where, what can be the name, right? Tag links is equal to document dot get by tag name. Will it pull? Then var link. Oh. I just get the link. I'm just going to loop it and attach my on-click event viewer to it. Very simple. So var for I'm basically a C plus C# guy. Sorry. Var I equals 0, I less than length. What can we do here? Just attach the color property that's with respect to the coding, and we are going to attach the on-click event. That's all. So lengths of I, I'm going to have the property here and config dot colors. Done. I'm just assigning it to the property. Then links dot on click. Am I doing some mistake? Correct? Will work. And change color. Change color this, comma this dot. Okay. Sorry. Will it work? Why? Sorry? Return false. Okay. So return false is basically it will not let me move so that I can see the color. Okay? Cool. Will it work? Let's go back and run. Here we go. All of block content. Didn't. Why? This is not actually the part of the pattern, but you will laugh at yourself when you find the mistake. Sorry? Prevent? No, I didn't get it. No. Sorry? Yeah. No. Sorry? I haven't? No. There is some other problem actually. It's not a part of the pattern. I mean, since we went fast, probably you missed it. Huh? Link or no? Oh, basically there is one more problem. The thing is, the one color I gave is actually white. Okay, so we'll change. So the FFF is actually white. So A, okay? But no? Why? No, actually it is a trigger. I mean, see, and it's open. It's not governed by the function. It's open. It does get, okay, so just to prove your point, what I can do is, okay, I am getting executed. I am getting executed. Okay, this is, sorry? No, I mean the script is executed, so, and I have attached my event on click right in the code. Actually, yeah. So the thing is, where is my script? before the links are generated actually. So yeah, this is not a part of a pattern, but yeah. So I just want to have it here after the links are getting generated. So now this is it. Oh, this is or maybe refresh. Oh, hello. Okay, so let's go and find out what can go wrong in that code. One thing is, I have this link exposed outside in the script. We'll just typically we write it like this, right? We move the script all to the head actually, and use the method to call it. Is it what the practice that you use? You call it typically at the bottom. Yeah. Performance actually, he can talk more about it. So we will discuss more about it actually. Yeah. When it is, we'll discuss more. It's typically for the performance. So because the rendering thread and this thrilling thread are different. Yeah. So. Oh, but you call it at the end, right? You write it on the head, but you call it at the bottom. That's for performance. So that's both the different. So here we go. I write it. So preferably what you do today, you might not want to have the script exposed in the script, but rather you put it as a function. Function change now. Make sense? Type. Change now. Works. Now the problem is, okay, this is the code, you're published, a lot of users are coming down, you're getting busy with your business, so now you add one more programmer, and you say, hey, add whatever you do, why don't you put it as a separate JS file? So he says okay, and he creates his JS file, his logic resides there, bad.js. Bad things, it doesn't always have this kind of explicit name, but assuming he has. So he creates a function called change, color, ref link, and for example, as logic goes like this, say. You got hacked. for example. Okay, so typically he wants to include a script as the best practice today. Where would you add it? In the head section. Okay. So what happened right now? He was a good programmer. He wrote the real good code. He's saying he needed a color change module. Okay. And let me go ahead and run it. Sorry? Oh, okay. Yeah. So actually, supposed to change the color. There was a module collision. The function name collided. So after you declared the function, somebody overwritten it. So now the whole logic is messed up, right? For you to go and figure out, it's a tough thing. So that is why we'll pick up these two problems. Typically the var. It's a very basic thing. I don't want to really do a demo of it. It's just you write a variable and you forget the var. It becomes the global for the entire document scope. Anybody can use it, whether they import the thing, and if you are a fan of using I equals, say. So you can pretty much reuse the I in your own script, which is a problem. So these two problems. So to solve that, let's first pick this one up. It's called the Singleton, the solution Singleton pattern. Okay. In here, you have all your functions and variables right inside a var, an object. Now, when you have it inside the object, assume you forget your var. What's the scope? Within the object. So that is why the problem of var goes away. You get it, right? So the typical syntax goes like this. So I have this anchor change. The reason I'm going into the code is probably you might be interested in the syntax. Okay, this is pretty simple. You have the config with all the comma, add your properties, add your functions. Pretty much the same code what we wrote is just here. And I have the initialization function onReady or document.onReady stuff. It's like this. And this is in the head. Okay, I changed the color. Pretty much everything remains the same. And I call it at the end of this script. And this gets executed like a charm. Sorry?
Question. What if there is another object of the same name in a different case?
Actually, it gets overwritten too. Namespaces will come to help. So, just discussing about these 4 patterns, how can help you? But as you said, we can keep discussing. So Singleton, and this works, okay? So next the problem is, assume I want some property and I don't want everybody to write it encapsulation problem. Obviously. Right? You have an object, you have a property called, an important property called maybe colors. If you are very particular about colors, you don't want somebody from other script to go ahead and change your property inside your object. As you can see, the objects are exposed in the document thing. I mean, everybody can write it, right? So how do you solve it? Like, do you use one of these patterns, or you just take care of it yourself using the name convention or namespace? Namespace. Okay. So here, in that problem, we have this pattern called module pattern. What happens is, I declare the same logic of declaring a new variable, and typically the overall syntax goes like this. Oops. Your variable name, okay? Function. I write my function code here, and this is the syntax of the module pattern. Okay? And as usual, you go ahead and write your code here. Okay? Code here. So now obviously you write your code here. This is kind of a class. So you simulate your class using this syntax. So now, obviously for a class, you need to have private, public. That's obviously the problem we are trying to solve. Okay? So the public, when you declare just like this, you just keep going. Sorry, here. You write a function inside your class syntax. That's actually by default private. Okay? And whatever you write in return, that's public. As simple as that. So you have your, in this case, he has put the config in the as a private variable. Then all this, this alter color is also private. And here we go. He has this int function which we saw in the example before. That's going in as a public function because you want to call it. And the way you call it is variable.int because anything you just call these because it's all exposed. You just call it. So public, private, and the classes are simulated using this syntax. Okay. The bottom, the way you call this, like a real function. So the
Is it the whole function getting called there itself?
I called int. Okay, so
Can you access any other part of the function?
we will test it probably. So modules pattern. So we'll go ahead and check the modules pattern. So you are asking if I can access the config property there.
Correct.
Let me go. So assume I'm a bad guy. I want to anchor. No. Get it? So regarding the modules, it's pretty much the same. So what is it? I don't know what the module he has. There is one private module, and the name is alter color. Okay?
Even that won't show.
Yeah. Okay? This will throw an error. Basically, you can see. So the problem that like people say that, hey, I don't have classes, I don't have private, I don't have public, that's kind of gone. You can simulate this everything using just one syntax. Class, open brace, private, public. Pretty much you can use this in the class. Everything just to summarize, everything in return is public. Otherwise, everything inside is private. And every logic goes the same. The public method can call the private method, and everything remains the same. Okay, encapsulation. So it's good, and there is another guy who came up with something called reveal module pattern. What he felt is return and writing modules inside the return. He thought it's tough. Okay, so he came up with another pattern where he says, hey, I have the same class kind of a syntax, function, open brace, close brace, and I declare everything private and public methods inside. Okay, without writing into return specifically. Because when you have a lot of functions, it gets complicated in going through. So what he says is, I'll write everything normally, okay, and even my public, everything outside, there's no return. However, I'll have I have this written very specifically mentioned what methods are supposed to be public. Pretty much the same thing, it's just the syntax is different. So here, you can go through the entire code, just correct it and stuff, but when you come to the return, you can just, in a single page, single shot, you can clearly see, hey, what are the functions that are public. So, it's a pattern.
This is better actually. You have more control. You can practically control what private key can become
Public and stuff. Even there, you can just cut and paste the code outside and it will work. So, yeah. So this is reveal module pattern. So next comes the custom objects. I think this one everybody would feel is to be more readable. So in here what he says is, boss, declare a variable. Okay? Sorry, yeah, declare a variable. Okay? Just forget about this int for now because there is, we'll discuss about it later. Okay? You can assume it like this right now. So he creates a basic variable, okay? And as he goes down, he adds prototypes to it. And by the way, this is not the class stuff I'm speaking about. This is another pattern. So we can reuse the pattern and use the pattern appropriately. This is a pattern where he says just create a variable and add all prototypes to it. Okay. The thing is here, you get it right? Okay. So the thing is, when he created the function, he calls the int, so it acts as a constructor. So if you see the invocation, all my old classes, what I did, I had the object directly invoke the methods, right? So here, typically, I can go with this, create the object, and the int gets called. It's a simulation of a constructor. This is another pattern. Okay, so the last pattern that I want to discuss for today is, yeah.
We don't have any scoping in the
No, it's not. It's not. Don't confuse with the class. I'm just discussing about random patterns. So assume how we can simulate a constructor, use the kind of a object creation syntax and stuff. So it's all independent. So first thing is just to avoid the var scope and stuff. Singleton's the one which we saw before is just to avoid the global scope. The next are classes. This one is just the constructor and object creation syntaxes. And this one, for example, if you run into a scenario, these are more like patterns or architectural stuff, majority, right? If you are a single programmer writing a website for yourself, you probably won't run into the pattern. So this becomes when it becomes a larger project, you get to use all these things. So in this pattern, it's actually the overwriting stuff actually comes in here. So if you want to have a piece of code that absolutely wants to run only once, say, today, since it's objects, people can rewrite it and stuff, right? Similar problem. You have no way of controlling it. If it's exposed, it's exposed. Anybody can run it how many ever times they want. But what this pattern says is, this pretty nice pattern. So you get to write this, declare this variable, you write your code here, okay? And, okay? Declare your code. It runs. For example, typically, pick up our example where I collected all A tags into one variable, links, right? The problem is, do I want to ever run it again in the same page? Not necessary at all, because links has the entire, all my tags. So he says, create a variable, declare, and let the code run. Then overwrite the same variable with the reusable function. Okay, you saw the same anchor change. I declared it that the code runs, and I rewrite it using return, and then this become actually exposable, public. And all I want to do is just call it. What happens? Your first code runs, then in the next step it gets overwritten again, and the public is called actually. Init is called. So in this way, you cannot make the code, the front part of the code run again. With me? Is there? Yeah.
So it's this function that's getting executed.
So it's the same. It's basically the change colors function. So I get all the tag. I mean, in the first code, I go through all the link elements, attach an on-click event viewer. Forget it. I never want to redo it again in this scenario. So let's speak of this scenario. So but I can click on different links and I can change the color. So that's exposed in the return. However, rest all is encapsulated, run only once, and it's thrown away out. Actually, you can never call that again. So these are various patterns, and in a lot of patterns around, which can be used for different scenarios. But if you run in these scenarios, think about using those classes and encapsulation and stuff. It's much more safer. So pretty much that's all I have for today. So any questions from me or Ranju?
Are these materials open?
This one? Yeah. This is absolutely open.
Is it on the web that you can post?
I can post it back in the JFU. There are several blogs on JS patterns. So actually, the whole world is not so bothered about the JS patterns right now, because this kind of large scale development hasn't really happened. But I can't tell you a lot of things. But January, you will think about me stating that you will feel a need for all these large scale developments. So watch out news from the Microsoft. We are doing some serious business there. So you might enter into large scale developments where you might need this. So I'm really not authorized to talk about it right now. Okay, thanks guys. So